Alright, I want to try to record this because the one with just the videos, there's a few things that got questions about, so we'll just make it where everybody can watch this if you want, if you need it. We're going to go to File, New. We're going to go to Mill, Create New Document. We want it to be round stock. Make sure you index around X, and then your diameter is whatever your diameter is. So let's say for this one you didn't turn anything down at all. You just drilled it, bored it, and did the ID thread. So you're still at 3-inch stock. We're going to set it 3-inch stock, and say maybe you're 4 inches long, which you really don't want more length than what you need to hold on with either chuck, because the more you have sticking out, the more unstable it's going to become, more chatter it's going to get. Key thing here, make sure your OD is right. Make sure you're indexing around X. That's what you're looking for. Alright, so when you come in here, you're going to have this problem. By default, it's going to go to the center. X and Y center is good. Z center, not so much, because you may forget that and come plummeting into it. So let's go ahead and set up here over here at the setup tab. And let's add our radius back into the offset. So if you had 2.6, you'd add 1.3 here. If you had 2 inch, you'd add 1 inch here. I'm putting 1.5 inches because my radius of 3 is 1.5 inches. Whatever your radius is, that's what you put here. And that's where you're going to bring it to the top of the work, still on center. Alright, from there I'm going to go to my right side view. I'm going to go to curves. And I'm going to go to other methods and polygon. Alright, so number of sides is 6. I want to be on center, but remember my center is now up here, so I got to drop it back down to the middle of the part. So whatever I put for a radius value to raise it up, I'm going to raise my geometric polygon back down. I know from looking in the machinery handbook that my center to corner, my D value in this dialog should be 1.299. So I'm going to set that, just like with any online calculator for, any kind of geometry shape. If you give it 2 pieces of information, it can figure out the rest. It adjusts to that what it needs to be. What I'm looking for is this height from here to here, but I want to make sure that I select this as arcs and lines. If not, when I try to offset it, it's going to offset everything. It's going to be one connected piece. If I tell it to create as arcs and lines, they're all separate. That way I can select just what I want. So the key here is I want to get a measurement from here to here, and it's not really nothing to snap to measure to unless I'll lay another circle on top of my stock. So that's exactly what I'm going to do. Again, whatever your radius was, you type in here for your circle. You got to remember that you move the center up, by the radius. In my case is 1.5 inches, so I'm going to drop the circle location down by 1.5 inches and hit enter. Now I've got a circle on here that I can measure from. So I'm going to measure from the top, that intersect, to this intersect. What I want to know right here is the depth. How deep am I going to cut to get this flat to come out to the right spot? In this case, it's 374 coming off a 3-inch stock. So now that I know that, I'm just going to get rid of it because it's kind of in the way. What I want to do now is offset that line back to the top. So I'm going to put it back up 374. I want all my lines that I'm going to offset from to go off the tangent of the circle. That way my depth is down into the part, but my tangent lines come off my stock. That way I keep everything measured right. So what we got to account for here, this does put it in the right location and the exact right length, but it leaves a little bit of corner on it when you cut it. So what I'm going to do is come in and put a line on the edge of each one of this, and I'm going to offset by my radius on each side. So split my radius in 2 across the side. So if I use a 1/2 inch end mill to do this, I'm going to come in and offset 0.125 from each of these lines just to get my line a little longer. Then I'm going to go to geometry and extend, and I'm going to extend the end of that line out to here. Now important here is you want to get rid of everything touching that line so you can chain it. So you don't have to delete everything, just delete everything touching it so it doesn't mess you up when you try to chain it. Now we're going to go to features, and I'm going to go side and make a pattern. And I'm going to go curve chain, pick the end of this line, the end of that line. It's the exact length plus the radius of the tool. So, and I added 1/8 inch to each side. That way I know my tool makes a clean cut before it moves on to the next side. So from here, I want to be normal. I want this to be 0 here. This should be my depth. And it's trying to guess at what I'm doing, but I'm going to put it exact what it should be. And then you'll verify again that your depth is there. No chamfers, no corner radiuses on your 4th axis work, because it does throw Featurecam for a loop trying to do that. So just leave it like it is. I think the end mill is going to naturally make a little radius when it machines that anyway. Important here is you want a radial around your index axis. And then it's going to ask you a little information. You put in your diameter of your stock, -3. How many sides? 6. Then you take 360 divided by 6, and it give you 60 degrees each. Offset your X position. This is how far back into the stock you want to cut. So let's say we're going to have 1.25 inch thickness on that nut. So 1.25 here. Uncheck depth first. I'm going to go ahead and I created MCC tools, so it'll be more like what you're doing. Finish on that. Don't even worry about running a sim or anything yet, because we got to run a sim, but I'm going to show you, like, if I try to go ahead and get to what I need, all the information I need is usually not there, but this time it is. So I guess because I had the tool pick. All right, so here, this is your radius, how far back to go, but we already set it in X, so it's going 1.25 inches back. Leave that alone. Here is how you can get these blocks back onto your stock. You measure from the center to the top of the features. I think I'm going to put -1.5, and it should snap it to it. You can take a look at that. You notice how the top edge is still tangent. That's what I want. So when I run this in simulation, I should get exactly what I want the first time. Let's go 3D on it. Okay, so that is working. It's leaving a clean edge because I drug that tool out of that line a little longer to compensate for that tool edge. But I don't want to cut it all at one time, and I don't want to go full depth. So I'm going to come in here and click on the word rough pass and do my rough pass there increment. I'm going to set it to 250 because it's a 1/2 inch end mill. And that's going to change it a little bit how it does. Makes it a little bit longer, but it's going to be worth it on your tool life. Because you got to remember, you're not holding anything out here. Everything out here is going to be hanging out of a chuck, nothing supporting it. So you're not going to be like you're in a vise and you can really just hammer down on it. So let's take a look now how it cuts. So come in, make it 1 pass, 2nd pass, rotate to the next side. It pretty much doubles it. But all in all, it's still a very short program, and we're cutting relatively aggressive with this, and we're getting a clean edge. And we'll see how long the program is. It's probably under 5 minutes. So NC code, our time, 3.5 minutes. So that's not bad at all. From there, you would have to take it out of the chuck, face this off, or put that in a vise, hold on to 2 flats, and just face all that off, and you'll be good to go.